Have you ever got that feeling of someone's presence while walking around in the forest? You look around trying to understand what could have caused it. And it's right in that moment when you realize. You look down at the ground and you see it. Litter. Lots of litter. Our planet has been infected with litter. You start to think about it more and more, understanding the whole significance of keeping your surroundings clean. It enrages you. It feels unfair. There's so much litter to clean. Too much. What could have been the reason of it being there in the first place? Who could have caused it? In today's video, we're going to deep dive into the problem of pollution with the help of our fellow anti-littering company member Mike Scott. I have gathered a lot of his old recordings, which we're going to analyze and possibly find the answers to our questions. Episode 1. The beginning. The first video starts with our cameraman Mike walking around the woods, seemingly looking for something. In shocking discovery, it turns out what he's looking for is litter. We hear him saying it himself.
I am on the hunt for litter because I don't like littering.
Turns out he does not like littering. We learn more about Mike as he's telling us the significance of the woods to him. He finds a can which makes him angry. He just walks away from it. Right after that, he spots a water bottle. But wait, what are those? Just laying there, down on the ground. He spots 2 cameras. Mike immediately recognizes them as a 1950s camera and the other one all the way back from 1920s. After walking some more, he ends up at a high hill. He suddenly falls down as if something pushed him. We can hear him scream in agony and terror, and right in that moment we see it. A person. Seems like he's just standing there. For some reason he's dressed very formal, having a black suit on. We can't quite see his face or anything that could have helped us identify him. Was he the reason of Mike's fall? How did Mike not notice this man at all? Was he following Mike the entire time? After the strange encounter, Mike shows us the aftermath of the fall. His broken leg. The provided image leaves no doubt. He indeed broke his leg, which is clearly visible. But turns out it's much more than just a leg. He mentions multiple bones being broken. Which one though are not specified. It's here when we find out about his incredible regeneration abilities. Good job, Mike. You're very talented. Episode 2. The following. The second video starts with a message informing us that everything we'll see here was found on those cameras back from the woods. Well, let's take a look. The first video shows us a footage from inside a car. It's unclear where it's headed and who is the person holding the camera. Mike informs us that the footage we just saw was recorded at night time, just as I and many others were theorizing. The next video shows a ceiling of some sorts. A child singing is heard in the background. When suddenly, he appears again. The strange man from the woods. This time we can see him in full detail, but at the same time, it's very confusing. Even though I see him clearly, I still can't seem to quite recognize his face or any specific traits on it. Just an average individual, which you see plenty of daily. One thing is very special about him though. His skin color is extremely white. We can assume the person suffers from some sorts of vitiligo, which would explain a lot, but it doesn't bring us any closer to his identity at all. I tried reverse image searching, but it brought no results. The next video shows someone walking around the house, seemingly confused. The camera starts focusing on the shadow of the person, then turning around showing another one. As we saw earlier, no one was there with the person filming this. So, who could this be? Where did they appear from? I think it's possible for it to be the same man from the previous video, because they both lack hair on their heads. I'm not sure though. We see the other person come closer to the house, stuttering and mumbling something. He tried knocking on the door and looking through a window, but there seems to be no one in the house at the moment. After that, we see the person break a piece of bush for unknown reasons. I'm speculating that the reasoning could be for self-defense, because it seems that the man from the woods who seems to haunt Mike was haunting people way before as well. If we take the fact that the camera is from 1950s and the date of Mike's recording is 2020, I can assume the man got weaker at the time of Mike's encounter with him. That's why this person needs something to fight this man with. We don't know what the man is capable of, so we can't blame you, don't you worry. Mike comes back again, this time with some news, covering his anti-littering company and its members. He also tells us about the anomaly that is way deeper than we initially thought. He shows a video of his colleague. I was unable to identify the video. After that, he tells us about some person named Johnny, who seems to be the part of
the cult?
Wait, what? Cult? This is weird. Could have Mike lied to us the entire time about the whole anti-littering company stuff? Could this be his cover-up for the cult he was secretly a member of? We can't know for sure. I can, not you. When showing the next video in the playlist, he mentions something named Slenderman. I tried googling this term up, but I had no success in finding any information regarding the word. Mike seems to not know either. Next video shows us a woman named Ookie Spooky Western Cookie. She also happens to make a video regarding this topic. Let's see.
My name does not matter.
Okay, I guess it doesn't matter.
So,
I haven't watched this video yet.
and today, I saw the strangest thing.
What do you see?
There was this man holding a camera just walking in the woods behind my house.
What?
My house.
What?
He was talking about litter?
Litter?
Further description makes us realize that the person she's referring to is our boy Mike. He gets extremely furious on her being skeptical on the whole cameras thing. Mike's anger makes him hit the spacebar very rough. So tough. Truly, the most amazing moment throughout all of Mike's recordings. The last video in the playlist shows another company member footage. It seems normal at first, but towards the end we see it. Another former dressed man struggling with vitiligo. Later Mike confirms that it's the same person who was following him in the woods.
That's the guy who was following me in the woods. That's the litter man, the guy who was putting litter all over the place.
Wait, so he indeed was following him? But how come he doesn't realize or tell us in the very first recording? Also, I don't see any similarities with the man we saw from the other recordings, like, come on, look at this. He also gives a name for the man, the litter man. He claims that the litter man himself was littering all over the woods. He shows a clear example of that.
I call him litter man because he doesn't have a name, but he had like no face and he like would put litter everywhere. Kind of like this. You see this? Like that.
Episode 3, The Calling. The next recording shows us Mike getting ready to interview the woman from the previous video. He assumes she might know much more than anyone could have realized.
I have a few questions for you, lady. Who's Litter Man?
Who?
Do you not know who Litter Man is?
I don't know who you're talking about.
Yeah, she happens to not understand what Mike is talking about. I'm not even sure if it's the same person from the video we saw. First of all, they clearly have a chat log, and the call happens to be through Discord, a niche social app of some sorts. I don't think she would have gave any social media to Mike, who she clearly dislikes.
Listen here, you motherfucker.
But if it's not her, then who is it? They seem to dislike Mike as well, but not know Litterman or anything regarding him. That's when Mike mentions
The
Horny Marbles video, which we'll come back to later. An interesting detail to mention is, even though Mike is very passionate about cleaning litter, his room is full of it. Episode 4, The Summoning. Next video showcases us the process of summoning the Litterman. Mike doesn't explain where he found about it exactly, but let's dive in and see for ourselves.
I just had the craziest theory that maybe I could summon him.
Okay, now Mike is clearly contradicting himself. First he says he found the method, but now he tells us a completely different story. Later that night, we see Mike sitting down and just hacking into some litter, when suddenly
Guys, I think I just heard something.
he heads downstairs, where the next scene occurs.
No, it's really you, Litter Man.
Yes, you have summoned me, and now I will spread all the litter across the town, and you'll never be able to escape my wrath.
Yeah, this was definitely one of the most epic moments of the whole series. Not as epic as the spacebar smash, but still. Now we actually have evidence of Litterman literally littering. Episode 5, The Wandering. This video shows us some more footage from the old cameras. Footages mostly consist of some irrelevant dog shit, so we'll skip it. There, now look closely. Yes, that's him, the litter man, doing his littering thing, as always. Episode 6. This video. This one is probably the most important of them all.
This is so fucking good.
I just walked into a fucking cobweb.
God. Like the framing and everything, like the way I shot this is like.
Yeah, there's already a lot to uncover. Mike faked his 1950s recordings, but does that mean the rest is not truth either? How did he get the Litterman to cooperate and help him fake these? The answer is not clear. I can't explain this. Don't look at me, look at him. If Litterman can cooperate with Mike like this, does that also mean that Mike contributes to littering itself? Was he never a part of an anti-littering company? Was it all fake? Episode 7, The Lightning. I have no words for this one. Okay, so there is some words I got. The message in the end isn't clear for me. Didn't want what exactly? Whatever was happening in the video? Or maybe he didn't want to fake all of this, or record in the first place. Honestly, we won't ever know. That's where the series ends. But before discussing the end, there's still some things I want to talk about. Horny marbles. Yep, this is what horny marbles looks like. I eventually was able to find what Mike meant by horny marbles. Just two guys having fun with their instruments. One of them mentions the possibility of leaving the band, which clearly angers the guy behind the drum kit. He slaps the guitarist and also breaks his guitar. After that, we see them in entry 32. Seems like they're all good again. The guitarist got himself a new instrument. The lights go out, and when they're back, we can see the drummer missing. Kinda. He starts chasing our main character, using all kinds of stuff as a weapon to threaten him. On entry 40, we see him briefless, talking about leaving the band. He breaks the camera and the next recording starts. Entry 56. Oh no, fuck it, I'm gonna go sleep. What the fuck is this shit? Letterman is not mentioned here once. Why did Mike reference this? Yeah, we won't get our answers. Theories. For the final part, I'd like to do some theorizing on what this all could mean. After Mike's confession in the 6th recording, we can't be sure that anything that we previously seen was real. So let's try to focus on what we're sure is real. So, Letterman, obviously the most real thing in this whole fucking series. He could not have faked it. Have y'all seen how he moves and looks? There's no doubt that every appearance of Letterman is in fact real. I don't think that you can fake him anyhow. He is just too realistic. But what else is real? Well, let's go back to the old cameras. Have you noticed something weird about them? We never got to see any videos from 1920's camera, even though Mike tells us that there is something on it, but we never get to see it. He says that the Letterman could possibly be there since 1920s. Does that mean that Mike has seen the Letterman in the 1920s recordings? That's hard to tell. All of the recordings have some connection to one another, except one. The very first found footage from the 1950s camera. In any other recording we usually hear Mike mumbling nonsense, but not on this one. It's silent. Not to mention that it's also recorded at nighttime, which isn't the case for Mike's recordings usually. So, what was the whole captain's log all about? What was the point? Was he trying to impress Ookie Spooky Western Cookie? I have no fucking idea.